Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that I know a lot of you are interested in: coding interviews.
Yeah, especially those at the top tech companies.
hmm
The Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you sent us this amazing article titled "The Ultimate Coding Interview Prep Checklist."
And it is really ultimate. It covers a ton.
It does. It's a beast.
Yeah,
But we're going to break it down into manageable steps, right?
absolutely pull out the most useful nuggets for you.
So, like, imagine you're about to climb a mountain, right?
Mhm.
You wouldn't just start climbing without a map.
No way. You need to know the terrain, the potential hazards, the best path to the summit.
Exactly. And that's exactly what this article does first. It gives you a map of the typical interview process.
So you know what to expect at each stage.
Right. You've got those initial screenings, then maybe a technical phone screen, and
You've
then
on
the
sites.
dreaded on-site interviews.
Sometimes even a follow-up. Oh yeah, don't forget those. Now that we've got our map, we need to pack our gear. And this article really emphasizes those core computer science fundamentals.
Absolutely. It's like building a house. You need a solid foundation.
Right. You can't just start slapping on walls and a roof without making sure that foundation is strong.
Exactly. And these fundamentals, they're your building blocks. Things like big O notation, object-oriented programming.
Memory management, even networking and database basics.
It might seem basic, but trust me, it comes up.
Oh, yeah. In various ways throughout the process.
You need to have those concepts down.
I remember when I first learned about Big O notation.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like a secret code.
It's mind-blowing when you first encounter it.
But once I understood it, it was like seeing the Matrix.
Right.
I could suddenly analyze the efficiency of my code in a whole new way.
Exactly. And it helps you write better code, more optimized code.
And the cool thing is, this article even gives us some resources if we're a little rusty on some of these.
Yes, definitely. It points us to some fantastic books, online platforms.
Even YouTube channels.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
And you don't have to become a walking encyclopedia overnight.
No,
Yeah.
just brush up on those key concepts.
Enough to apply them to problem solving. And that brings us to data structures.
Ah, yes, the building blocks of so many algorithms.
Arrays, linked lists, stacks, queues, trees. It's like a whole zoo of data structures out there.
It can be overwhelming, but this article breaks it down so well.
It does. It gives you this framework for understanding each one.
Going beyond just memorization.
Yeah. It's not just like, here's a stack. It's
Right.
like, here's a stack, here's what it does, here's when you'd use it, here's how it compares to other structures.
And here's how to implement it in your favorite programming language.
They even have a simple Python example for a stack, which I thought was super helpful.
Visualizing it, right? Seeing the code makes it so much clearer.
Exactly. So you're not just memorizing these abstract concepts, you're seeing how they're actually used.
And that's key for interviews. Being able to explain why you choose one data structure over another
Makes you stand out.
shows you really understand the concepts.
Speaking of understanding things, let's move on to algorithms.
The heart of it all, right?
The algorithms bring those data structures to life. They're what make things happen.
Absolutely. If data structures are the ingredients, algorithms are the recipes.
I like that analogy.
They tell you how to combine those ingredients to create something delicious.
Or, in our case, solve a problem efficiently.
Exactly.
And this article goes through all the essential algorithms, searching dynamic programming,
Greedy algorithms divide and conquer.
the whole shebang.
It's a lot, but don't let it intimidate you.
I know it's a lot. And this is where I personally start to feel the pressure.
Yeah, I get that. It can be overwhelming,
But the article gives us some really good advice for approaching algorithms.
like practicing implementing them from scratch.
Don't just read about them, code them up.
It's like learning a new language. The more you speak it, the more fluent you become.
They even have a Java example for a binary search implementation.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic one.
I love seeing those concrete examples.
It helps solidify the concepts.
And they stress that it's not just about memorizing the code.
No, it's about understanding why the algorithm works.
That's what interviewers are looking for, that deeper understanding.
They want to see that you can think critically about the code and not just regurgitate it.
It's about problem solving, not just code writing.
Exactly. And that's a skill that will take you far beyond just coding interviews.
It's valuable in any field.
Absolutely.
This deep dive is already making me feel so much more prepared, and we're just scratching the surface here.
I know, right?
Yeah,
There's so much more to cover, but we're laying a solid foundation.
that's what's important.
Absolutely. We'll be back soon to dive even deeper into the world of coding interview prep.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back. We've covered a lot of technical ground, So far from understanding the interview process to mastering data structures and algorithms,
It's been quite the journey.
it has.
Yeah.
But, acing those coding interviews requires more than just technical skills.
Oh, yeah. You gotta be able to talk to people.
Exactly. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about those sometimes dreaded behavioral questions.
Oh, yes, those behavioral questions.
Mhm.
The ones that ask you to tell a story about a time you failed or had a disagreement with a colleague.
Right. It can feel like walking a tightrope.
I always get a bit nervous about those.
It's understandable to feel that way. But here's the good news. The article gives us some excellent strategies for tackling these questions with confidence.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So remember, behavioral interviews are all about assessing your soft skills and cultural fit.
So they're trying to see if I'd be a good fit for the team.
Exactly. Companies want to see how you'd work in a team, how you handle challenges, how you approach problem solving in real-world scenarios.
Because let's be real, coding is rarely done in isolation.
Right. It's a collaborative effort.
So it's not enough to just be a coding whiz. You need to show them you can actually function in a team.
Navigate those messy human interactions.
Exactly.
And the article emphasizes the importance of using the STAR method to structure your responses. Yeah. It stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result.
Oh, okay. So like setting the scene.
Right. Think of it as a storytelling framework.
Makes sense. You set the scene, describe your role, explain the actions you took, and then...
And then, most importantly, highlight the results you achieved.
So it's all about turning those experiences into compelling narratives.
Exactly. Like, instead of just saying, I'm a good communicator, you'd tell a story about a time you had to communicate a complex technical concept to a non-technical audience.
Right. And how your clear communication led to a successful outcome.
Precisely. And the key is to practice telling those stories out loud. It might feel awkward at first, but trust me, the more you practice, the more natural and confident you'll sound.
Practice makes perfect.
It really does. Imagine this. You're asked about a time you faced a challenging technical problem. Instead of rambling, you calmly lay out the situation, describe your specific role, detail the actions you took, and then bam, you hit them with a positive outcome.
It's like hitting the high note in a song.
Exactly. It makes you stand out from the crowd.
So it's all about storytelling and showcasing those soft skills.
It really is. It's a crucial part of the interview process.
But let's be real, even with all this prep, there's nothing quite like the pressure of an actual interview.
That's true. Those nerves can definitely kick in.
Which is why the article stresses the importance of mock interviews.
Mock interviews are your secret weapon. They're like dress rehearsals before opening night.
You can iron out any kinks, test your storytelling, get comfortable thinking on your feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they suggest finding a study buddy or using platforms like Pramp.
Oh, I've heard of Pramp. Have you ever used it?
I have. It's great because you can get paired with another person who's also prepping for interviews. So you both get the practice and can learn from each other's feedback.
Oh, that's smart. It's like having a sparring partner to help you get ready for the big match.
Exactly. And during the mock interview, you actually code in real time.
Oh, wow. So it's like a real interview.
As close as you can get. You want to simulate those conditions as much as possible.
So like with a whiteboard or a shared coding environment.
Yeah. And remember, it's not just about getting the right answer.
It's about how you get there.
Exactly. Practice thinking out loud, explaining your thought process, being open to feedback.
So communication is key.
Just as important as the code itself.
This is so helpful. I feel like I'm getting a real insider's view of the interview process.
That's the goal.
Mm.
We want to demystify it and give you the tools to succeed.
And speaking of tools, there's one final but crucial aspect of interview prep that the article highlights.
What's that?
Researching your target companies.
Ah, yes. Research.
Mm-hmm.
So important, but often overlooked.
I've always wondered, what does good research actually look like? Is it just reading their About Us page?
It's much more than that. Imagine you're going on a first date. Wouldn't you want to learn a little bit about the person beforehand? Maybe check out their interests, see what makes them tick.
Yeah, I'd definitely do my research.
It's the same with companies. You want to go beyond the surface level and demonstrate a genuine interest.
So it's like showing them you've put in the effort to get to know them,
Exactly.
study their products, understand their technologies, get a feel for their company culture. Read recent news articles. You'd be surprised how much valuable information is out there.
Wow. So it's really about going deep.
It is. Think about it this way. You're interviewing at a company that's revolutionizing healthcare with AI-powered diagnostics. If you can casually mention a recent article you read about their groundbreaking research, it shows you're paying attention and genuinely interested in their mission.
That's such a good point. It's not just about showing off your knowledge, it's about demonstrating that you're passionate about what they do.
Right. And don't forget to research their interview process itself. Some companies are known for their quirky questions or unique challenges.
Oh yeah, I've heard about those.
Being aware of these beforehand can give you an edge.
So it's like another form of preparation, a way to anticipate what might come up and tailor your responses accordingly.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and showing them you've done your homework. And trust me, interviewers can tell when a candidate has put in the effort to research. It makes a big difference. This has been incredibly insightful so far. We've covered a lot of ground, from data structures and algorithms to the nuances of behavioral questions and the importance of research.
I know, right? It's a lot to take in, but it's all valuable.
I'm curious, what else does the article highlight that can help us truly ace those coding interviews? And we're back for the final stretch of our coding interview prep journey. We've talked about the process, the technical must-knows, those tricky behavioral questions, the power of mock interviews.
And the importance of researching your target companies,
Right.
making sure you're a good fit.
Now let's talk about some secret weapons. Essential tools and resources that can help you along the way. It's like having a toolkit filled with gadgets designed to make you a coding interview ninja.
I love that analogy. Having the right tools can make all the difference. It's like having a super sharp chef's knife when you're prepping a gourmet meal. It just makes the process smoother and more efficient.
Exactly. And this article is packed with recommendations for our toolkit. It starts with some classic books that are practically required reading for any aspiring software engineer. You know, when I was first prepping for interviews, Cracking the Coding Interview by Gail Lackman McDowell was my Bible.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. It's
Wow.
got everything from data structures and algorithms to problem-solving strategies and company-specific insights.
It really does. It's like a one-stop shop for interview prep.
And for those who really want to dive deep into the technical nitty-gritty, there's Elements of Programming interviews.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that one's pretty intense.
It is. It's known for its rigorous approach and challenging problems. Perfect for pushing your boundaries.
So, like, for those who really want to test their limits.
Exactly. And then for system design interviews, there's System Design Interview by Alex Zhu.
Oh, right. System design. That's a whole other beast.
It is.
Mm.
But this book breaks it down really well. Lots of practical advice, real-world examples.
So you're not just memorizing abstract concepts, you're seeing how they're actually applied. But the article doesn't stop at books. It also recommends some amazing online platforms.
Oh, yeah. The online platforms are fantastic for practice.
LeetCode is probably the most well-known, right?
Yeah. It's a massive platform with a huge library of coding challenges, categorized by company, difficulty level, and topic.
I've heard people swear by LeetCode. Is it really that good?
It is. It's not just about practicing coding problems. It's about getting comfortable with the interview environment itself. You can track your progress, compete with others, and even do mock interviews directly on the platform.
Wow. So it's like a complete training ground for coding interviews.
It really is.
And then there's HackerRank, another popular platform.
Yeah, HackerRank is great for honing your skills and even exploring potential job opportunities. They have a ton of challenges, contests, and even company-sponsored hackathons.
Oh, wow. So you can actually get noticed by companies through HackerRank.
You can. It's a great way to showcase your skills.
And for those who prefer a more structured learning experience.
There are platforms like AlgoExpert and InterviewBit.
Right. I've heard of those. They offer those curated courses and practice problems.
Exactly. They're like having a personal tutor guiding you through the process.
That can be really helpful for some people, especially those who thrive on that structured learning environment.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you just need a visual explanation to make things click. Have you ever used YouTube for interview prep?
Oh, yeah. All the time. YouTube is a goldmine for coding interview resources. There are some incredible channels out there.
Like, what are some of your favorites?
Well, there's Back-to-Back SWE, known for its clear explanations and helpful tips.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one. Super popular.
And then there's Tushar Roy Coding, made simple grades for visual learners.
I love those visual explanations. They make things so much easier to understand.
They really do.
Yeah.
And for system design prep, Gaurav Sen is fantastic. He breaks down those complex concepts into bite-sized pieces.
So we've got books, online platforms, and even YouTube videos, a whole multimedia learning experience.
Really?
But let's not forget about the actual coding environment. You'll need a place to practice and test your code.
Right. You need a good IDE or online coding platform.
Online platforms like Replaw.it and CodePen are great for that.
They are super convenient, especially if you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up a local development environment.
So it's like instant coding gratification.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
And of course, you can always use your favorite IDE, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable and productive.
It's all about finding the tools that work best for you.
Exactly. But remember, tools are only as good as the person using them. The article emphasizes some final preparations that are crucial for making a positive impression.
Okay, so we've sharpened our tools now. It's time to make sure we're presenting ourselves in the best light. What are some of those finishing touches?
First and foremost, review your resume like it's the most important document you've ever written. Be prepared to discuss every single project and technology you've listed.
You've got to own that resume.
Absolutely. Your resume is often the first thing interviewers see, so make sure you can back it up with confidence and clarity.
And practice that elevator pitch, the classic tell me about yourself.
Yeah, have a concise and engaging introduction ready to go. Highlight your skills and experience in a way that's relevant to the job.
It's like your personal movie trailer.
Exactly.
And if it's a remote interview, don't underestimate the importance of setting the stage. Good lighting, a clean background, a stable internet connection.
All those little things make a big difference.
It shows you're taking the interview seriously.
Exactly. And just like in a physical interview, have a pen and paper handy for jotting down notes or working through problems.
Those are all great practical tips, but there's something the article mentions that I think is often overlooked. Preparing thoughtful questions to ask the interviewers.
Oh, that's so important. Asking insightful questions demonstrates your engagement, your curiosity, your genuine interest in the role.
It's your chance to turn the tables and interview them.
Exactly. Ask about the team dynamics, the company culture, the challenges of the role, anything that shows you've done your research and you're thinking beyond just the technical stuff.
It's a chance to see if the company is a good fit for you.
Not just the other way around.
Right. It's a two-way street.
And finally, remember that interviews are mentally taxing.
Oh, yeah. They can be draining.
The article emphasizes the importance of self-care. The night before an interview, treat yourself to a good night's sleep and a healthy meal. You want to be well-rested and energized both mentally and physically.
It's like preparing for a marathon. You wouldn't show up sleep-deprived and on an empty stomach.
Exactly. And don't forget, after the interview, send a thank you email to your interviewers within 24 hours.
Always a good idea.
It's a simple gesture that shows you appreciate their time and reinforces your interest in the role.
And even if you don't get the job, each interview is a learning experience.
Absolutely. Take some time to reflect on what went well, what could have gone better.
And use those insights to improve for next time.
Continuous improvement.
So there you have it, a comprehensive deep dive into prepping for coding interviews. We've covered everything from the technical foundations to the soft skills and those subtle nuances that can make all the difference.
We really have packed it all in.
Remember, it's a journey, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, stay persistent, and embrace the challenge.
And keep in mind, even experienced developers use these techniques to stay sharp.
So whether you're a coding newbie or a seasoned pro, this deep dive has given you tools that you can use throughout your career.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, stay curious, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
We're cheering for you. Go out there and conquer those coding interviews.
Best of luck.